the authority of the source with the authority of the legal principle cited in it. Advisory and non-binding isn't wrong, it's just incomplete. It is not complete just as a headline lacks detail. The authoritative citations in the opinion are state Supreme Court cases, United States Supreme Court cases, state statutory provisions. During the time that these two instruments were before.
Okay, let me start over. There's a couple of things I wanted to go over here this morning real quick. One of them is the ordinance that the city is looking at. It is the hate crime ordinance, as I said before we got started this, and I had my mic off, so okay. Here we go, folks. It's Tuesday. The bottom line is that that this is something which I think that Tripp Padgett has gone above and beyond to make sure that the city is doing what is correct. We all know that across our state we do not have a hate crime law. We are one of two states that do not have it. However, counties have counties and cities, I think there's one county and the rest are cities, have passed hate crime ordinances. I don't remember how many, 10, 15, a significant number in our state. And the city of Greenwood was brought to that same, asked to do the same thing. I think Greenwood is very fortunate to have, number one, a city council that wants to make sure that they are doing the right thing. And they also have a city council that has an attorney that will spend the time and the effort to find the answers to what they should be doing. Number one, just to give you a little history, a little background on this, Tripp did ask for an opinion from the Attorney General. Many of you may have been watching on or listening or have heard when I had Alan Wilson on the radio, asked him about an opinion on it. He gave an opinion, although it was, I'll say it this way, it was not solid because he hadn't done a lot of research, but he did say this, and this has remained true throughout it. If there is not a law on the books, municipalities cannot enact their own laws. Because if you did, you would have laws could be different all across the state. You could be in one county, it be this, another county be that. That being said, that's just a little history in case you haven't been following along on this. So Tripp Padgett had asked for an opinion from the South Carolina Attorney General. He got an opinion back. That was well reported, and basically it said if you don't have a law, you can't, if it was challenged, or an ordinance, if it was challenged, it would not be legal. So all that needs to happen right now is one of the 10, 15 cities, municipalities, county that have enacted that, tried to put that through and somebody challenge it and it would go away. So Tripp wanted to make sure that what Greenwood was doing was correct, was legal, and had, if it was going to be something that could be upheld. We're now going to join our conversation with Tripp. Here, let's see if I can get it back to where it starts, somewhere right here. All right. Let's start it.
Verse 7, it is related to this item, so I'm going to recognize your city attorney, Tripp Padgett, to cover these two items.
I want to address both of these items at first and then get into the specifics of each one at the appropriate time. So I'd like to first address the Attorney General opinion to you. give you a quick story.
All right, that's not going to work. I thought I could expand it here, folks. I am sorry. Let's go back to where we were. I should have just left it alone. Yes, Ann, you should have left it alone. God, I was trying to make sure that I could expand this to do this, but I may not be able to do it. So let's see. Maybe I can't do this the way I thought I could. I can do it. I just am not doing it correctly here. What did I do wrong here? What did I do wrong? Okay. Well, oh, I know. Here we go. Give me a second, folks. I got it. Hey there. All right.
My job is to advise council as to the state of the law as it exists today, to the best of my ability and knowledge. I've seen in the print media and heard in commentary that the South Carolina Attorney General opinion is merely advisory and non-binding. This bumper sticker description seems to be said to diminish the effect of the opinion. It suggests that the opinion can be dismissed entirely when in reality the opinion functions as a roadmap to binding precedent. The comment of advisory and non-binding confuses the authority of the source with the authority of the legal principle cited in it. Advisory and non-binding isn't wrong, it's just incomplete. It is not complete just as a headline lacks detail. The authoritative citations in the opinion are state Supreme Court cases, United States Supreme Court cases, state statutory.
That is a glitch in the tape.
Visions. During the time that these two instruments were before you, and that they were being developed, there have been critics. I've learned that they were likely critics because they didn't understand the rules very well. Most of a lawyer's work is to find those rules. You have to locate the rule pieces, then put them together in a rule book for the certain circumstances before you at the time. In the current matter, it's like you're suited up with in a helmet, pads, and cleats for a football game. And the other team shows up in a helmet, pads, and cleats. But they also show up with lacrosse sticks. The balls are different. The game is different. The rules are so totally incompatible with each other that the two teams can't even meaningfully interact. We were working off of two sets of rules, and that equals communication impossibility, and that leads to frustration. However, one of the critics reached out to me through a council member. That what I thought to be critic quickly became not a critic, but a curious constituent. We sat down at lunch. We met personally, face to face. No tweets, if we still have tweets, I don't know what to call it now, but no tweets, no Facebook posts, no social media battle. One of the first things he said to me after greeting me was a 3-word phrase. And I wish that these words were more common in political discourse. Instead, people react with emotion without taking time to discover, read, and understand the rules that apply. Those three spoken words to me at lunch were not something like we the people or e pluribus unum. Those 3 spoken words may embody the spirit of those phrases I just mentioned, but the actual words were really much more special and express a deep type of wisdom. He said, "Help me understand." Very simple. Didn't react with emotion. Help me understand. It was at this point his willingness to even be opening to listening and sincere in his request that I knew we could have a discussion. We were starting to communicate. We were playing the same game
We
with
will
the same
stand
set
for
of rules.
invocation, remain
The
standing. for the
main
Pledge of
question
Allegiance.
this curious constituent had was, what does smoking have to do with
Reverend
prejudice?
Edwards will be leading us in the invocation.
Great question. My explanation was, of course, smoking has nothing to do with prejudice. But the cases that he was referring to were taken to court because the act described in the ordinance was, one, smoking in the workplace, the beachfront case, which we'll talk about in a minute, from 2008, or smoking in bars, the Foothill case, also 2008. But the subject matter could have been anything. Replace smoking with just an X and move on. It doesn't matter what the topic was. It would work just as well. Those cases talked about the act of smoking, but those cases were about city ordinances that criminalize behavior that was not already criminal under state law. This is the precise issue that was before you. One of the two issues. One is the South Carolina constitutional issue, which Beachfront and Foothills talked about, but also the First Amendment. It's important to note that my analysis is for you only. Other municipalities have their own counsel and can come to their own conclusions. Municipal legislation is presumed constitutional until a court says otherwise. But based on the state of the law today, I could not advise you to go through the front door like other people did. But with the front doors closed, perhaps sometimes you look for a side door. It might be open. Well, the side door is open. The instruments before you today are a side door to what we talked about earlier in the summer. So let's turn to those instruments. The ordinance first. You'll see that the ordinance is written in a way that looks to be complicated. It is. It's more complicated than most ordinances. It has to be. You'll see that there are these whereas clauses littering the page. Those are for two reasons. One, it is a way for you to speak to the court if it's ever challenged. So the court knows why you went a certain way. But even more importantly, this is for the public. This is so that your constituents can go read the rules. Don't take my word for it. Go to the original source. I know that the index read the original sources. I know because I gave them to Renee. She was diligent enough to read them. But please read more than a headline in the paper. Subscribe to it. We need press. Read the articles, but don't stop there. Go to the original source, not even just in legislation, but in any news you read. Don't take someone else's summary. Perhaps the online version can hyperlink these cases so to make it even easier for the public to go read the rules. Now you'll see in the title of the ordinance that it is entitled Criminal Conduct Because of Prejudice. I have intentionally not used the term hate crime. I think that hate crime is a headline and it's imprecise and wrong. Hate is a feeling, a thought, or an opinion. And no matter how ugly it is, it's likely protected under the First Amendment. To call a feeling, a thought, or an opinion a crime is inaccurate and wrong under the law. It is the conduct that is motivated by that prejudice that is important. Hate crime is just not accurate. And we need to be accurate when we're talking about legal principles. The reach of this ordinance is limited. Municipalities can only do so much. This is only in the city limits of the city of Greenwood. As soon as you go into the county, this does not apply. The jurisdiction of this ordinance is only in municipal court. Your serious crimes are heard in general sessions, not city court. The solicitor is the chief prosecutor for the Eighth Circuit. That's Abbeville, Greenwood, Lawrence, and Newberry. And it is his policy not to prosecute any municipal ordinance in general sessions. So you're not going to see this in. Again, the reach of this ordinance is limited. The punishment of this ordinance is a fine up to $500 per infraction found by a judge or a jury beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, if you go through these recitals or the whereas clauses, it sets out that the bigoted behavior based on race, religion, color, disability, sexual orientation, national origin, or ancestry, this is your statement where bigoted behavior is repulsive, despicable, and wholly unnecessary to a civilized society. That's the mission statement. So now what? Well, we go through what our rules are. The first one in the ordinance, the city cannot criminalize that which the state has not declared a crime. That's not the AG's opinion. That's the Supreme Court of South Carolina in 2008 in the Foothills case. It's been that since we even started looking at it. The state has no statewide hate crimes law. Each municipality shall have jurisdiction to try all cases arising under the ordinance of that municipality. And there's a code section there. You can look it up. When I started law school, I had to have a password and a username to go find a case on a particular system. If I couldn't get in the system, I had to go to a library and pull a book. Today, you can look these up on your phone. We went on to describe why this is not a civil matter as defined in the municipal statute, because the municipal court lacks civil jurisdiction. The municipal court cannot hear a civil wrong between parties. That you need to go to the magistrate's court for that. But you will hear the fine called a civil fine. Don't confuse civil fine with civil action. There's a Kiowa case, I believe, that, well, that's a circuit opinion, but there are some cases that certainly support that. The ordinance goes on to say that violence or other types of potential expressive activities that produce special harms distinct from their communicative impact are entitled to no constitutional protection. So it's linked to the conduct. That's what's important. Two very important cases that I know that we have talked about is RAV versus City of St. Paul and Wisconsin versus Mitchell. Those bridge, I believe, the First Amendment gap. As soon as you cross over into conduct, that's when the action can be taken. But because the state does not have a crime for this conduct motivated by hate, municipalities can only go with a civil fine. So the way that this ordinance is set up is that first, a person must be found guilty in municipal court for a crime existing under municipal ordinance or state law, depending on what's charged. If that person is found to have intentionally selected a person as their victim based on, in whole or in part, on race, religion, color, disability, sexual orientation, national origin, or ancestry, then the court will have a bifurcated, a two-stage trial. You got to be convicted on the conduct. And then, if you're convicted on the conduct, you come back and the jury hears a second phase of the trial. Was that conduct motivated by prejudice for one of those categories? And then, if found guilty for being motivated by prejudice, then the judge can fine up to $500 per infraction found. Who finds infractions? The jury does. Any questions at this point?
Any questions for Drew? No, thank you.
One just quick thing to alert you to as well. I did some additional research over the weekend, a 50-state survey of these types of statutes. And it's not limited to race, religion, color, disability, sexual orientation, national origin, or ancestry. These are things that you might consider between now and second reading. But for example, in Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Utah, included in those factors are law enforcement. In Nevada, first responders. In Utah and Vermont, military status. And in Arkansas, Iowa, Utah, DC, and West Virginia, political association. So other states have a much wider, or some have a wider net than the traditional categories. However, what I was asked to look at in early summer is what I have in your proposed ordinance.
Trip, obviously, this is a bit of apples and oranges with the 20 some odd local governmental subdivisions, mostly municipalities, but maybe one county that has passed them criminally. Do you know if any of those have had an opportunity to use that or their criminal ordinance? I mean, obviously it's different than what I'm just kind of
Anecdotally,
curious.
the only one that I'm aware of is Richland County it's been charged, and it was, I mean, the facts are really ugly, but I haven't followed it.
Gotcha.
And the question I want to raise for you, Trip, is with all the other municipalities that have adopted an ordinance, does it says hate crime, or is that the language they use, or do they use the criminal conduct cause of prejudice? Do you know? Can you answer that question for me?
I have not looked at that, and again, other municipalities are free to do what they want until a court rules otherwise. In my opinion, it is important that our title represent what the law actually is. I've always hated federally when bills are named something that have nothing to do with what's in the bill. It's totally confusing. Again, it's a headline to get attention, but it doesn't give you the detail of what it really is about. So I'm trying not to be misleading here whatsoever. So when someone says conduct motivated by criminal conduct motivated by prejudice or because of prejudice, well, that tells you what it is. It's conduct motivated by prejudice. I've got to have conduct that was motivated by prejudice. There's very little confusion there. If you say hate crime, someone could say, you're thinking ugly thoughts. You should be arrested. That doesn't happen in America. Go somewhere else in the world and that might happen to you. But we are free to be ugly. But as soon as that crosses to conduct, that's when something can be done about it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
That was Annette
You got a
Edwards.
question for Trip? Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, do I hear a motion with regard to ordinance number 25-025?
Does this explain 6 and 7?
No.
Okay.
Seven will be next.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
This
I
is
got
just 6.
you. Okay, thank you. All right,
Just
gotcha.
6.
You want a motion?
The floor is open for any motions.
Motion
Okay.
to approve. Motion to approve ordinance 25-025, amending City Code of Laws, Chapter 28, by adding Section 28-42, criminal conduct because of prejudice, punishable as an infraction by civil fine.
That is City
A
Councilman
motion by
Matthew Miller.
Mr. Miller, second by Reverend Edwards. Any further discussion? Or any discussion? I would submit that our state legislature is still the best venue for this. I don't like being one of 2 states without a statewide law, and I would hope that perhaps our next agenda item will get some attention from the state level. I think that's the better avenue rather than us trying to apply this to municipal infractions. That's not to say I'm opposed to this. I just think the state is a better avenue for this, and I pray that if we do pass this, we'll never have to use it. But I'd like to thank you, Tripp, for I know you've done a lot of research in this. So it doesn't go unnoticed.
I'd like to also add to what you just said,
This is
Mr.
Reverend
Mayor,
Annette
that
Edwards.
I pray that when all us municipalities get all of these orders in place, that we can compile them all together and send them to the State House, that they can put that hate crime or whatever in place. Thank you, Tripp. Great
Any
job.
further discussion? All right, all in favor of ordinance number 25-025? Mr. Bass?
Approve. Great job, Tripp.
All opposed? All right, that motion carries by a vote of 6-1.
All right, I'm gonna.
Hold on one second. Hold on one second.
Are you talking to us?
Yeah. Well, can you explain that vote again for me?
6-1.
Okay.
Mr. Abels was opposed.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, new business item number 7 is to consider resolution number 25-009, urging the state legislature to enact a statewide and uniform punishment for criminal conduct motivated by prejudice. Mr. Paget.
Welcome back.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right, so the resolution has a different function.
Okay, so that now is just urging them to take this to the state, but I thought the most significant part of this was the discussion, and well, actually Tripp's presentation. Tripp Paget, he's an attorney here in Greenwood, presentation on this. Number one, I thought it was excellent. I thought it was to the point, and so I commend City Council. Now, they have had a first reading on this. I believe they have to have 2 more. But that is, and the only person voting against that was Councilman Abels. Everyone else, Jonathan Bass was not present, but he was there in through the magic of Zoom meetings or whatever. So he was there and did vote. Everybody else voted for it. I hope that this resolves some of the concerns that people have had. I think you should note, in case you missed it, at the very beginning, Tripp said this would just be citywide. This is just within the city. It does not go countywide. So if an infraction, something happens within the city and it's taken to local court, then that could be an added penalty, but the jury would have to find the infraction, and then the judge would rule on how much it could cost, up to $500 per infraction. So there's a lot more discussion. But the important thing to me is that the city of Greenwood approached this head on. They didn't bury it. They did not bring it up. This has been a discussion going on for several months now, and I think that this is a good step. In the next part, they talk about bringing a resolution to take it to the state so that the state would act on that. And that, of course, should be the ultimate goal of it all, is that the state actually act on these things. So, will they do that? I don't know. But, will the state do that? I don't know. This has been in front of the state during several sessions since Representative Senator Pinckney was part of the Emmanuel 9 down there in Charleston. This has been something that has been brought up, and it's never made it through. I don't know what's going to happen. But at least in Greenwood, South Carolina, we have something that will, A, stand up in court, which I think is important, and B, we have something that should, when this goes through, it had first reading and was approved. So first reading, they've got second and third, I guess. This will be done. So you got a question or a comment about it here today? 864-332-9355. That is our new call and text line. If you have a message, you can leave a message and it converts it to text. Most important. So that is just something that I thought was important for our community. As the voice of Greenwood, I felt it imperative to bring it up, and I realize it was a little long, but I think in total, to hear the whole thing in toto, if you did not hear it, if you weren't tuned in last night on City Council, it was important. Okay, so now you have clarification. You have it in sync with what our South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson has said, and should they decide that this needs to be used in our city limits, it will be something that can be used when it is approved, but it's on the trajectory to be approved. All right, that's a lot about that. I did take a lot of time here on the show to discuss it, but I thought it was important. Now, in other stuff here this morning, I wanted to talk about County Council meets tonight. They'll be live, 5:30, I think, today, and they actually are on YouTube, but the best way probably is to go to the county website if you want to stream their meetings. One of the things that they have decided not to continue to take up, is the solar farm, which unto itself is a little misnomer, because you are not growing a solar farm, right? I've always thought that was a little odd, right? A little odd, and it is, but they've decided that they don't need to take this up. A solar facility is looking at, and this is coming from Duke Energy, Duke Power, is to take over approximately 1,005 acres. And there are a lot of individuals who are part of this. Duke Energy is going to lease, I believe it's a 25-year lease. It could be 30, but it's a 25-year lease. And one of the things that the county and the planning committee was struggling with was the fact that they were going to have to come up with a new ordinance, zoning to be able to allow that to go through. Well, in several votes that the county had over the discussion on this, it was quite evident that there were a lot of questions from some of our county council members. Keep in mind that Theo Lane, who works for Duke, had to recuse himself from these meetings, and Dane Pruitt, councilman from county council from 96 area, was in charge of running the meetings. So there'd been a lot of discussion about the zoning. People had been coming forth. There were some people that were looking forward to having the quote solar, and I'm putting it in quote, solar farm on on their property. They were looking for the money. There were discussions about what type of buffer would be between the property. There was discussions about what happened 25 years from now when the property may not continue the lease, and so therefore that they would, Duke, I understood, had to return the property to the condition that it was. But nonetheless, there were a lot of questions, and a lot of the questions that county council members, particularly some of them, were asking were not getting answered. They tabled it. They said, we'll go on, we'll come back to it. County council really didn't seem to want to get into it, or they were seriously looking about getting some of these answers. As I said, some of the people were looking forward to having this approved. Some were not, and were quite vocal about it. But then right out of the blue, County Council is meeting tonight. Yesterday afternoon, a message from County Council came up, and I want to read it to you, and I want to get your opinions. 864-332-9355. Keep in mind, this was a hotly debated topic. It was not going, I would say, 100% positive for approval, and so inquiring minds have questions. So, here you go. Ordinance 2025-29, which proposed changing the zoning for approximately 105 acres located in the area of Five Notch Road from forest agricultural to rural development district to accommodate a proposed Duke Energy solar project, will not proceed to a third reading. What? Creating an ordinance is a deliberate process that provides multiple layers of review and scrutiny. Following review by county staff, it has been determined that the proposed utility-scale solar project is already a permitted use under the existing forest agricultural zoning district. Because zoning is not required for the project to move forward, a third reading of this ordinance will not be necessary as the application has been withdrawn. As a result, there is no decision before the county council at this time. Does that not seem a little odd? If this wasn't necessary to begin with, wouldn't that have been something that the planning commission that reviews the zoning board, wouldn't that be something that they would have already been up to date on? Did this come about because it was quite clear that the people, even though I guess a good amount of money was being thrown at them, or some people were not getting any money, depending on where you stood, but the control of the property didn't look as positive, maybe as the parties that were looking for this to happen, i.e. Duke Energy, thought that would happen. So, then it goes on, there's another phrase, there's another paragraph here. Duke Energy will likely seek economic incentives. Now they're going to ask for incentives through Greenwood County, which would require council's consideration and a public hearing. So, hark, hark, folks. We've got through the tough hurdle. Now we're going to ask for economic assistance to build this. That portion of the process is anticipated to begin in early 2026. As with all public hearings, information will be disclosed via the County Council meeting agenda, which is posted on the county website and official social media channels. Questions specifically regarding zoning for this project should be directed to Greenwood County Planning Director Carol Coleman. 864-942-8636 or ccoleman@greenwoodsc.gov. Again, that number is 864-942-8636. That's if you'd like to call Miss Carol Coleman. I don't know about you, but we're talking about 1,000-acre solar project here that affects, I don't know how many people, but they had to put together quite a piece of property. Quite a piece of property. So, do you think it's a little odd that we would not have something in place for solar facilities? That they do not explain what the ordinance is, evidently, and I'm just doing it by the last meeting, and what I've learned is that this, because it is, in their eyes, considered a utility, that because the part of the zoning that they already had on this property was, it was explained to me that if they wanted to build some, I guess, small farms, this type of thing, that the property was zoned to be able to bring in utilities. And they are considering a solar farm a utility. Is that really accurate, or is that stretching? That is the question. And in truth, Duke Energy is going across the state looking for places that they can put these solar farms. So I think that this should not be swept under the rug, and this is only my personal opinion. This should not be swept under the rug, which is what it really is doing, because if you had no fear, or if this was totally a positive thing, would they have gone ahead with a new ordinance that would have been rock solid, or not? I don't know. I don't know the answer. I actually have talked to some of county council, not all of county council. But it is and if you go back and watch some of the previous meetings that they've had on this, which is at least the last 2 or 3 meetings before the meeting that they have tonight, this is a topic that had a lot of questions. And in fact, Kathy Miller had asked that the list of questions that had been asked during those meetings be compiled into a list, and then those questions have been answered. Well, I don't believe many of the questions were ever answered. So again, I have problems with county council and the way that they have a tendency to not be totally transparent. If you look around the state and how are solar properties, solar energy facilities, how are they looked at, I think you'll find that it's not open season. I think that our county has a responsibility to protect. Yes, individuals should be able to do, but when you're putting together this big a project, over 1,000 acres of solar farms, I'm calling it a solar farm, that's not exactly the right term, but that this should be thought about. Not only that, they do cause some problems. Maybe not anything to the individuals, but does it change? Do they have, I've read some stuff. I'm not going to try to get into it because I don't want to speak out of turn. I think maybe we should see about an expert coming in to really talk about it from both sides instead of only out of one side of their mouth about the effect of a solar farm, because this is a big issue, and it is a big issue to the people out there. And what protection do the people have from this? 25 years. I mean, I won't think I'll be here, but if I am, I'll still be talking about it. So I would really like to have some people come forth and talk about this issue. But I think the very fact that that they, quote, found a workaround, but is it really a workaround? That's my question. Is it really a workaround? Does the fact of a solar farm being a utility really grant them the right to not do anything about it? Was this utility phrase that they're using from an ordinance from or a zoning from 2002 really effective in 2025? That is my question. Should it be included? Are there differences between what was intended of the zoning ruling and what is being used for to try to make it fit? I can tell you, County Council was not 100% on this, and this action might have failed. And so being able to withdraw it raises all kinds of flags in my mind. How about yours? 864-332-9355, 864-332-9355. That is the number that you can call and weigh in on this. If you are a person or you know some of the people that have this property, I think it would be very worthwhile that we have some discussion about this. After all, yes, people should be able to do with what their property, but this is utilities. If we were putting a wind farm out there, would that be okay? I mean, I'm just asking. Do all these things just taking it so literally, or is that the interpretation of when the law was done? Of course, this gets into the Constitution. This gets into constitutional and everything else issues. I realize that. I just think Greenwood needs to be a little bit protected and not give away our precious resources to a solar farm or any of the other things that can come here. I think although people have the right to do with their property as they would like, absolutely, but I think that we should be careful because we want to know the future of what we are dealing with. So, FYI, that is to me most important. And that is why I say the things I say. So, I am for Greenwood County. I'm for responsible growth. But is the solar farm, should it be lopped under as a utility? Some can, I'm sure, fancy schmancy lawyer can argue, yes, it is. But what are other areas doing to protect their land use? And we only have so much land, folks. That's the other thing. We only have so much land. So I would request that they do more research into it instead of shoving it underneath the rug, as County Council sometimes does. And I would also request that now Duke Energy is going to ask for some incentives in the new year. This is what they're saying. Will likely seek economic incentives through Greenwood County, which would require council's consideration and a public hearing. That portion of the process is anticipated to begin in early 2026. So, while Duke Energy has all the lawyers and money that they can throw at this thing, not all of the people involved in this can, because they are small landowners. There are small landowners in there. There are big landowners in there. And a 25-year lease. How I still have questions. How, after 25 years of lease, and there are a lot of questions about, do these things leak? Solar panels. Is that a problem that's been taken care of? How do you return property that's been used for 25 years back to its original? That's another question I have, which is totally off the grid. Our question is, should the zoning that they have applied to a solar farm? And stop. That's all I'm going to say about it. We'll see what happens at County Council tonight, and we will be watching County Council to see the direction that they take. All right. Thank you very much. All right. This was just posted, and I've got to admit, I did not watch. I'm sorry. I did not watch the school board last night. However, this just came across my desk, and this is quite an accomplishment. Jim Steele, Greenwood High School principal, has been named principal at Greenwood High School. We want to say a big congratulations to him. He has certainly been a very positive here in our Greenwood. Still had served as the school's interim principal since the beginning of the school year. He has now been elevated to principal, so congratulations, Jim Steele. That is a heck of an undertaking. Greenwood School District 50 at Greenwood High School. So congratulations on that. So I am glad to see that for the school. I think that is a tremendous positive there. So I had something else here I wanted to share with you since we're talking about interesting topics here. Actually, I want to do a shout out to Claudia Hooton with Snowflakes for Seniors. She was on, I think it was YFF, as a community champion with her Snowflakes for Seniors. That is a huge undertaking. That is a huge project. And she started with, I think, less than 6. And now what do they have? Close to 40 locations, I believe, that they are always doing Snowflakes for Seniors. It is such a benefit. She is right in that, we always think of children for Christmas, but seniors need love too. And so many of our seniors are alone during the holidays. This is a terrific way to mention them. So if you see the little white Christmas trees in some of our businesses around Greenwood, and you'd like to pull one off and get the things that they'd like on their list, and then you take them back to the store, then they distribute them to the seniors. What a terrific project. It started just with a vision. So Claudia, congratulations on being recognized as a community champion. I think that's an award that is well deserved. All right, now, I got a couple other things I want to talk about, but I am also, I want to find this, if I can find it. It is just so great. I got all this stuff on my page about Ann Eller and all this stuff. That must not be on this page. So let's see. I want to see, did anybody see about, a couple of weeks ago when Mondani won the mayorship in New York City, right? Well, it must be on my other page. I have too many pages. All right. Yours truly may have actually remembered that I talked about tariffs to bring, if people want to move here, that we had to protect ourselves, right? Well, here it is, yes. All right, this is on Ann Eller's page. Now, I did not come up with this, but I think this is terrific. And this is going to be the last thing I'm going to discuss today because I have a hair appointment, and I cannot be late for my hair appointment. All right. We must protect our area. Kind of goes along with everything else we're discussing this morning. This, as I said, Mondani won the New York mayorship election. People were talking about leaving New York, and of course, South Carolina is a very popular state for people to move from up north. They like what we have going on here. Of course, we're concerned about them coming here and trying to change the way we are, right? Okay, that's a standard joke. I had talked to the lieutenant governor about maybe adding tariffs if they want to come here, like the golden ticket that Trump had talked about for immigrants coming into our country. If you can pay enough, you can come. She thought that was outrageous. I hear Texas is thinking about that, or maybe has done it. I don't know. But we got to protect. This whole point is to protect our states, right? We've got to protect our states. So this, of course, is tongue-in-cheek, but I love it. I absolutely love it. Upstate SC caution. In regards to all the people wanting to move here from New York and California, as well as many other heavily populated cities across the country, for those just wanting to come and visit, before you come to the upstate of South Carolina, you must be aware and understand what is exactly happening here, especially around the rural areas. There's a housing shortage. Rent has tripled and folks are vacationing here in record numbers. So if you're planning on moving here or just plan on visiting, I think you should know that wolf spiders, fire ants, and bed bugs have infested hotels and motels across the area due to drier than usual weather. The woods will eat you alive with ticks and chiggers. Our lakes are full of gators, freshwater sharks, and creepy old guys wearing Speedos along with huge bald eagles that are known to snatch small children and animals. God, I love this. Appalachian panthers have eaten many domesticated animals and possibly some small children. Snakes? Don't even get me started on the water-headed copper moccasins here and the diamondback rattler cobras. The poison ivy, sumac, and poison oak have overtaken all other vegetation. In addition to the itching, these plants can cause extreme diarrhea and uncontrollable vomiting. We have had bear sightings at every park in town, and they are after your picnic baskets, and some cougars have been spotted in motel rooms and bars. Now, I hope you get this. Some cougars have been spotted in motel rooms and bars. Remember, older women were called cougars. Okay, let's just go on. I'm sorry, I had to say that. I just wanted to make sure everybody was appreciating this as much as I appreciate. Then it says, watch out for the jackalopes. They have been extremely aggressive this season. We have silverback gorillas invading our parks, and it's their mating season. Porcupines are making their return and are stabbing small children should they dare to utilize the local playground equipment. Skunks have multiplied at unprecedented rates and wander the local campgrounds in packs looking for beer. Murder hornets. We've got great black clouds of murder hornets, swarms of giant crickets, and even some West African grasshoppers that spit skull wintergreen. Scorpions have now migrated here and have been congregating in massive quantities under rocks, logs, wooden steps, even automobiles. Tarantulas are now stealing people's food and biting like crazy. I'm pretty sure all private tiger owners, we had a jump in them after Tiger King debuted on Netflix, have released their cats into the streets of our cities and towns. Head lice now fly. We have vampire bats, and don't even forget about the Mothman. Glowing eyes and wings like a scene out of Jeepers Creepers. Oh, and no one is vaccinated. I hear Kentucky and Ohio are real nice, though. Isn't that great? I just think that is so great. I love it. I love it. Sometimes you got to go overboard to protect what you want, right? And sometimes you have to slide stuff under a rug to protect what you want, right? Right. Okay, I am an Eller here this morning. I love some of the things that I read on Facebook. That, by the way, I don't know whether this is Jeff Powell, I believe, wrote this, came up with this. I do not know Jeff Powell, but I just thought this was a really, really, really good write-up on what we are dealing with here in South Carolina. So as we look at people coming here, we always talk about, well, you can come, but don't try to change us. The more people that come, the more that is a possibility. So stand strong, Greenwood, upper state, South Carolina. I think they've decided that south on the coast of South Carolina, it's a lost cause. Who knows? But at least maybe we can protect the upstate. That was the mission of this statement here. There are a lot of great things coming up, lots of great things coming up in our community. I think I'm going to have to let that pass here for today. I do think that we are going to have some beautiful weather here today. Right now it's 58 degrees outside, feels like 58. We are headed to a high of 71 and a low tonight of 50 degrees. And we are looking for, today is Tuesday, and County Council meets tonight at 5:30. Let's see, so Wednesday we're looking at a high of 79 degrees, low of 51, partly sunny skies. Thursday is a high of 76, low of 54, again partly cloudy skies. Friday a high of 77, low of 61. Cloudy skies. Saturday, high of 77, low of 55. So that's a little bit about your weather forecast, looking awfully good this week, So I hope you get out there, and I hope that you are ready for a great, and I mean a great week this week. I do think we need to be aware of what is happening. Local government, we always say, local government is where things happen, and local government is where things are happening. I will be on the meeting tonight, but as I said, they have decided they don't need county council's approval to put that huge 1,000-acre solar facility out there on 1,005 acres. I think the property, if I remember correctly, is a little over 2,000 acres, but they'll only be using 1,000 acres, which is still a very significant. It's one thing to put 3 or 4 solar panels out. It's another thing to put out 1,000 acres of solar panels. And so that is something that needs to be further addressed. I hope that County Council will reconsider what they have decided to do, but I doubt if they will, because they put this letter out and they say that it did not need County Council's approval. Inquiring minds want to know. I'm Ann Eller. This is WCRS Radio. I am going to close the show out here for today. I got to take Miss Penny out. I got a couple things I got to do. I got to tell you, the boxes for Be the Heart of the Holidays are getting ready to go out. We'll have those out. I'll have more information available on those. We are here at WCRS. The thing that I love more than just about anything, doing toy drives. And we are doing a huge toy drive in conjunction with the Lakelands Marines, and also with Toys for Tots. Toys for Tots is back this year. They have they have revamped the way they are going about doing things. That is a good thing. So, but our toy drive is most important to District 50, and also this year to District 51, which is where Shoals. So we are working with the schools to make sure that the students that are getting toys, gifts, whatever, are ones that really need it. And I know that this is a question that everybody really has. We want to make sure that nobody is left behind. Our toy drive covers District 50, and now we've added District 51. It'll be about 350 children ages 4 to 11. I would really appreciate it if you are out there buying any toys, if you want to make a donation, that you contact me, because we want to make sure that our school districts, because of our counselors there, know which students need this the most. Most of these are in homeless or in a, I'll say, precarious living situation. May not stay in the same place every night, maybe moved around a lot. These are children that don't qualify for some of the other services that are out there, and that is why we at WCRS, with the Lakelands Marines and many of our local businesses, will be standing tall to make sure that these children get the gifts that they should get. So contact me if you have any questions or if you'd like to make a donation. Would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We want to thank the Lakelands Marines for coming on board with us, as well as Toys for Tots is working with us too on this. So again, thank you to you all for all you do and for listening to me every day right here on the radio. Well, and on Facebook Live. Thank you so much. Have a great day. That's going to do it for me. We're going to put the curtain down. There we go. The curtain is down. We are going to cue the music. Well, I guess we better cue this music right here. I had something else on. We're cueing the music, and we are out of here. Bye-bye, everybody.